everyone who joined the webinar today. My name is Rungpet Chitanwat. You can call me Rose. I'm going to be the moderator for the today's session. The webinar today is focusing on the beverage sector, on the non-alcohol beverage, which is supported by the Thai Beverage Industry Association, together with Informa Markets, the organizer of ProPak Asia 2020. Today with me, we have our panelists who are the experts in the food and beverage sector. There are the topic that covering on beverage sector in Thailand. However, Thailand is engaged with many neighboring countries in ASEAN. So we have the expert from Mintel going to share with us on the beverage trends in the Southeast Asia market. For this webinar is one of the digital platform that ProPak Asia together with the TBA trying to produce the fruitful and the knowledge platform for the audience to engage the beverage community together. So the topic today on the trends, and we have our last speaker that really on the policies and regulation for the functional beverage industry. However, to avoid the confusion, because we have done the pre-question from the audience, there are a lot of questions on the health claim and the nutrition claim, which is not going to cover in this session because that is the part of the Food and Drug authorities in Thailand. So the session is only on the tax, policies and regulation. So not to waste your time, I'm going to bring you to the first speaker, which I may invite Mr. Tan Heng Hong. He is the APAC Food and Drink Analyst from Mintel Group. So right now, may I invite Mr. Tan, who is on the other side of, I think he's from Singapore, to be on the video. Let me brief a bit about Mr. Tan. He is working for Mintel Group and been monitoring emerging food and drink trends in the Asia Pacific region, particularly on the Southeast Asia for more than 10 years. Before joining Mintel, he has spent most of his career in media monitoring, market research, concentrating on Asia Pacific region. So his key role was writing various reports on China's consumer sectors from food and drink, retail to beauty and personal care. Then Mintel was acquired Access Asia in late 2011. Then he became part of the Mintel. So are you ready, Mr. Tan? So I will pass the video to you to cover on the topic of the drink and beverage trends in 2020. Please, Mr. Tan.
Okay, thank you, Rose, for the introduction. Let me share my screen with you all. Okay, so welcome everyone to today's webinar on Southeast Asia beverage trends. So these trends are also relevant for Thailand. So I'm Heng Hong, APAC Mintel Food and Drink Analyst, based in the KL office. By the way, I'm also quite obsessed with beverages. Myself, I even collect the bottles. So glad to be here to share with you my observation of the market. So in this 30 minutes webinar, I'm going to talk about how beverages can tap into immunity trend given strong consumer interest in immune boosting benefit following the pandemic. Next, we will also look at ways in which beverages can support consumer emotional well-being during these stressful times. And finally, we will look at how we can take sensory experiences to the next level with innovation in flavor, also in texture. Okay, so let's get started. So if you see on the chart, right, COVID-19 pandemic has really made health a higher priority for a lot of people, especially here in Southeast Asia. We did a survey in July 2020, and we found out there's an increase in the percentage of consumers who say they now regularly consume vitamin mineral supplements. And also they are adding a lot more immune boosting ingredients into their diet. So as there's no cure from coronavirus at the moment, I think the best approach for everybody is to sort of boost up the immune system. So we've seen in terms of innovation, the innovation is also moving into that direction. For example, in Thailand, we have RTD tea maker like Ichitan. They have even rolled out in the past few months functional water with vitamin B complex. So this is bottled water that provides immunity benefit. And we've also seen a lot of vitamin C enriched beverages coming into the market. So for beverage players, it's still not too late to jump into the bandwagon. Yeah, so functional beverages are well placed to provide functional benefits to consumers. As you can see from a survey done on Thailand, we noticed like 38% or 2 in 5 Thai consumers consume drinks that contain added beneficial ingredients to improve their health. So if you look at the trends over the past 2 years in terms of non-alcoholic drink launches in Southeast Asia, we notice there's an increase in product launches featuring digestive claims, immune system claim, and also probiotic as an ingredient. So these are also indicative of the current consumer interest in these functional benefits. So one way to boost your immune system is through the use of herbal ingredients. So the other one is through micronutrients like vitamin C or vitamin B. So if you look at the chart here, we see a lot of launches in the past 2 years of herbal substances that uses like green tea, curcumin, ginger, ginseng, and reishi mushrooms. So following the outbreak of COVID-19 in the region, we also noticed a lot of these food service players like milk tea or coffee. They even launched their own health boosting drinks. For example, in Indonesia, we've seen a lot of this example of milk tea company or coffee coming out with their own jamu drink with ginger or curcumin. And here in Thailand, we see Fire Tiger milk tea chain has launched the Tiger Egg with yuzu and honey orange. So these are all beverages rich in vitamin C. So all in all, is consumers in Southeast Asia turn to these herbal ingredients because they trust these ingredients and have used it for generations. So survey shows that in Thailand, 69% of consumers agree that traditional medicine is an effective remedy against illnesses. So beverages can really tap into this consumer trust in traditional medicine by innovating with drinks with herbal ingredients. And here we have 2 examples of products from Thailand. On your left is a new player called Cumin C. And this is very special. Why is it so? Because it contains vitamin C, the usual ones, and then you have vitamin B6, B12. And on top of that, it also has curcumin and also L-glutathione. And on your right, we have a juice company, Tipco, introducing a juice drink which has a very interesting blend of carrot juice and ginger. So we expect to see more beverages innovating around herbal ingredients going forward, and there will be more categories that incorporates these herbal ingredients into their drinks. Now, so apart from herbal substances and micronutrients that we talked about just now, another opportunity for beverage players to deliver the immunity claim is through digestive claim, such as probiotic, prebiotic, or functional fibers. So you may be wondering, what is the connection between gut health and immunity? So the bacteria in our gut plays a very vital role in training the immune system to deal with these pathogens. So a strong immunity essentially starts from the gut. So looking at that prospect, right, over the past 2 years, we have seen launches of non-alcoholic beverages containing prebiotic and also probiotic with immunity claim. And the launches in APAC region rose by 60%, but this is growing actually from a very low base. So based on Cypher, right, So Cypher is like an organization that keeps track on patents. We see that probiotic, fermented extract, and also prebiotic are among the cited ingredients used in food and drink patents to support immunity health. So this is a global trend. So what this means is companies around the world are really looking at innovating more in the area of gut health and immunity. And we could be seeing a lot more launches in this space in the future in terms of actual product coming into the market. So already we've seen probiotic claims like from your probiotic drink like Vitagen or even Yakult, mentioning that our immunity starts from our gut. So for beverage players, how can you tap into this opportunity? So we have a few examples from the region. So you can see here we have a chilled juice drink from Australia, and this particular juice drink contains probiotic and so prebiotic. And in the middle, we have a chilled probiotic sparkling drink with live probiotic, and it's from Australia. And this is like a carbonated soft drink. So if you see on the chart in your left-hand side, you notice that non-alcoholic drink launches with immunity claim is pretty low if you come to your ready-to-drink, your water, your carbonated soft drinks, or CSD, even sports and energy drinks. So let's say if you're a manufacturer of these RTD, water, CSD, and you want to add the immunity benefit into your product, so you can consider innovating with probiotic, prebiotic in your drink. So if you look at the product on your far right-hand side, it's a kombucha. So this kombucha is quite popular in Western markets, but whereas in Southeast Asia, it's still very niche. Probably the taste is a bit tangy, a bit citrus. It's not the taste that common to consumers who drink soft drinks. So to make it tasty, Wonder Brew is a kombucha player from Malaysia. It has localized the flavor with Ipoh. The Tambun Pamlo, it comes from Ipoh. So making kombucha tasty can be a means of attracting consumers to the kombucha category. Now looking away from immunity, let's look at other opportunities for beverage players. And one of the ways is for relaxation and also to bring consumers on a mental vacation. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to relax given the current situation right now. So here we have some of the ingredients that we can provide a relaxation benefit, such as botanical flavors and also alcohol flavors. So let's explore. So the key drivers is consumers feel very stressful. And COVID-19 has exacerbated the situation. So even before COVID-19, we did a survey on Malaysian adults, and 82% of them already feel stressful, and they are actively finding ways to reduce the stress level. And the same happens to Vietnamese consumers. Half of them would want to have a diet that can help them to relax more. So after COVID broke out, we did another survey on consumers in the region, and then we find out 60% of Thai consumers are pretty worried about the financial impact of COVID on themselves and on their families, because probably the companies are laying off workers and they might be affected as well. So there are many things that keep consumers worried, especially given the current situation we are in right now. And just like what the Vietnamese consumers say, 50% of them say they would like to relax through food. So we also seen in Southeast Asia, a strong percentage of consumers across the different countries in Southeast Asia, we asked them, if they feel that certain ingredients have a beneficial effect on their mood. So most of them say yes. So even we're talking about Thai consumers, 70% of Thai consumers say that certain ingredients has an effect on their mood. So beverage brands can make full use of consumer acceptance of calming ingredients when innovating with beverages that can help people to relax. So what are the most popular ingredients found in beverages with relaxation benefits? So if you look at global perspective, so the top ingredient is actually chamomile, followed by balm and holy basil. You also have companies innovating with GABA, L-theanine, reishi mushrooms, and also valerian root and curcumin. Okay. Looking at the examples we can find in Southeast Asia, in the middle, we have the Eno Wellness Deep Chamomile Flavored Drink. So this drink has L-theanine and also chamomile as the relaxation ingredients. And on the right, we have a product from Indonesia, and this is Acai tea, and it contains reishi mushrooms. So this is like the lingzi, which also helps consumers to relax. Now, there are many ways for people to relax. So one of the ways is to drink alcohol. So, but increasingly, young consumers feel that drinking alcohol is something not popular right now because of the whole thing of being sober. You see this sober, curious trend happening in the West. It's also not cool to be seen by your friends being drunk. So we have a survey shows in Thailand that nearly 1/3 of Thai consumers say it's not cool to get drunk. So that's why non-alcohol beer like Heineken Zero is gaining popularity in the region. So just like alcohol-free or low alcohol drinks, people still want something that is sophisticated. That's why soft drinks with alcohol flavor, minus the alcohol content, can be an innovation possibility for beverage to do some innovation. So you've seen a lot of interesting examples of big brands launching alcohol-flavored soft drinks in the region. For example, you have Nestle, PepsiCo, even TCP, launching these alcohol-flavored drinks in the juice and also carbonated soft drinks space. So here are examples: 7-Up Mojito from Pepsi. We have the Nescafe Cafe Viet instant iced black coffee from Nescafe, and also we have TCP Mansom Mojito and Zinc fruit drink, which has been recently launched in Thailand. So do note that the relaxation benefit of these non-alcoholic drinks with alcohol flavor are merely suggestive. There's no active ingredient that actually helps you to relax. Therefore, the importance is on your marketing activities and also on your packaging. If you look at the product, the Nescafe Cafe Beer, it sort of have a very dark neon-like colors on the packaging, and it sort of gives you an experience of being in a pub or in a bar, but you're in the comfort of one's home. So for Muslim majority countries like in Southeast Asia, we have Malaysia, you have Indonesia, alcohol flavored drinks can be a sensitive topic, especially when it's launched by the brewers themselves. So for soft drink makers, you can still inject certain sophistication into your drink using botanicals. So in Thailand, we found that 42% of consumers prefer botanical flavor like a floral herbal flavor in their sweet drinks and sweet food. And also, you can charge a premium price because consumers are willing to pay a premium for products that are natural. So you have your botanicals. So botanicals are also natural ingredients. And in 51% of Indonesian consumers say that they would consider paying a premium for these type of products that are naturally sourced. So a good example is from Malaysia, a company called Tapping Tapir. So this company is interesting. It makes artisanal soda using real fruit juices, spices and herbs, mainly the local herbs like your ginger, cardamom, and also galangal. So the company charges a premium price. That's why it uses like the glass bottle. And it targets the HoReCa channel, hotel, restaurant, and cafe. But because of COVID, right? So the food service industry has been impacted greatly. So the company changed some of the strategy, coming up with canned drinks to sell in the retail channel, more of a mass market positioning. So the important thing about Tapping Tapir is this non-alcoholic drink maker has received a halal certification from JAKIM for all its range of products. So this type of sophisticated botanical drink, which is natural, is quite suitable for markets like Malaysia and also Indonesia. Now, I'm sure many of us, like in the audience, begin to travel overseas. Like I have a few of my trips canceled this year because of the outbreak, including trips to Bangkok, actually this month. So it's pretty sad. So with border closed and international travel coming to a stop, so it sort of makes consumers yearn for drinks that offer something to escape from the present reality. So in the comfort of one's home, you can still sort of enjoy the Vietnamese coffee. So here we have some of the regional flavors that can evoke mental vacation, can bring you on a journey, the gastronomic journey to far away places. For example, we have Vietnam Milk coming up with a ready-to-drink milk coffee. So Vietnam is famous for its drip type coffee. And this particular coffee also uses a very popular condensed milk. So in the middle, if you want to travel to Japan, you can do it through your flavors. You can have a drink that contains the Japanese plum, or some of the Japanese flavors that is associated with Japan include yuzu, Satsuma mandarin, matcha, and even ramune. And in Korea, so imagine yourself shopping in Myeongdong and then have like a bingsu dessert there. So beverage companies can innovate with different sorts of Korean flavors that is associated with Korea in consumers' mind, such as your banana milk or Jeju tangerine from the touristy island of Jeju, or even citron juice. Now, so far we talked about immunity, relaxation. So the other areas of opportunity that remains highly relevant regardless of the coronavirus is actually flavor and texture. No. So we in Southeast Asia are very adventurous when it comes to flavor. So Mintel has asked consumers in Southeast Asia, and we found that in this region, consumers say they like new food, they like to try new flavors. And on top of that, they also are fun seekers. So they seek fun in all aspects of their life. And also they like trying new experiences. So if you look at the picture on your right, it's actually, what is it? It's something interesting. So in Indonesia, a coffee chain called Four Coffee has partnered with Magnum ice cream. So what it suggests is consumers can actually enjoy their ice cream, the Magnum ice cream with coffee. So what you do is just dip your Magnum ice cream into the hot coffee, and then you can drink a flavor that combines coffee and also Magnum ice cream. Now, so if you look at some of the mashup that we have in the market, we are pretty adventurous. Have you heard of coffee containing soy sauce? So this is actually a real thing in Indonesia. So this coffee, Ali coffee, has teamed up with Unilever Bango brand, which is a popular sweet soy sauce in Indonesia. I haven't tasted this. I don't know what it tastes like. But what about combining your essence of chicken with coffee? So this is a pretty weird combination. So I managed to try this in Thailand early this year, and surprisingly tastes pretty okay. I think that's because I kind of like the taste of chicken of essence anyway. So the launch of this mashup and hybrid drinks is a testimony of the ingenuity of beverage players in the region to give a lot of excitement to consumers with different types of experiences when it comes to flavor. So instead of eating your coconut jam toast, you can drink it. So this is what the CSD company in Malaysia did, Haus Bu. So Haus in Malay is actually thirsty. So it has come up with a CSD that is inspired by the popular coconut jam toast. And we see this also being used by Nescafe in the recently launched white coffee with the kaya toast flavor. I think in Thailand also, Nescafe has added bubble milk tea flavor and also some caramel biscuit flavor in their coffee 3-in-1. And instead of eating mango sticky rice, you can also drink it, just like what Kato did with his flavored drink with nata de coco. So this type of products can also be exported, especially to China, whereby Thailand has become a very popular destination for Chinese tourists. Now, so people can be very proud of their culture. So how to celebrate the consumer growing sense of localism? So beverage companies can innovate around floral flavors that consumers can truly connect emotionally with, such as you have Singapore, the orchid flower, which Tiger Beer in Singapore has turned into a special lager, which is infused with orchid for the recent National Day event. And also in China, we have PepsiCo coming out with a very Chinese style drink, osmanthus flavored CSD as a limited edition. And according to PepsiCo, these type of drinks very resonate with the Gen Z consumers who are very proud of their own culture. So we did a survey on Thai consumers on this issue. We found that 76%, which is very high, say that heritage is also an important part of their identity. So companies can sort of innovate with floral flavors for different events, such as National Day. And finally, consumers are also interested in various texture. So these are the Dalgona coffee that we sort of did it at home during lockdown. And in Indonesia, we have seen enterprising entrepreneurs coming up with a bottled version of Dalgona coffee. This is very interesting coffee which has a Dalgona topping on top in a ready-to-drink format. And what about playing around with sparkling? So add some fizzy into your RTD coffee. So you notice that RTD coffee is a category that's ripe for more texture innovation. We've seen in food service, these milk tea players, they have introduced a lot of this coffee jelly thing. So in Japan, Coca-Cola, through the Georgia coffee range, has launched the Georgia coffee jelly drink. So also has some interactive elements into it. So before you drink it, you need to shake 5 times. And if you want to innovate for the local market, you can also consider not just using coffee jelly. Why not use grass jelly, which we are very familiar with? Put grass jelly into your coffee drink to give the added texture. So to recap this session, right? So what does it mean? So in the beverage market right now, so there are big opportunities around health, particularly immunity, especially with COVID-19. And the stress of the COVID pandemic reveals the potential for beverages to help consumers to relax and to unwind, or even transport them mentally to somewhere far away. In terms of flavor and texture, it's still very much relevant for Southeast Asian consumers because we are very adventurous eater. We like new food and drinks to try, and also new texture. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Heng Hong. So I think this is very useful information from Mintel study that for sure with the pandemic situation, it stressed the consumer to look for the products, beverage that boost the immunity, relaxation, and like in a feeling like looking for the mental vacation, and the last one on the sense of intense, which is can be in terms of heritage or even the texture. One thing I get from what Mr. Hong mentioned is like Generation Z is looking into their own culture, meaning that they are really love to show their heritage, especially the Thai young generation. That is very interesting for the beverage producer who watch the presentation, that you can see the development most of the time is related to the ingredient that is available in the region, or even the indigenous ingredient that can innovate to make the beverage more variety at this stressing time of the pandemic. So right now you hear already about the general in Southeast Asia, the beverage trend that Mintel has done the study. Here we have our guru in the marketing sector. We have Dr. Lakhana Leela Yuttayotin. She is the former president of Marketing Association of Thailand. She is going to cover on the marketing trends and strategy for beverage after COVID-19. And Doctor has mentioned to me that she really loves to mention about the digitalization in the beverage sector. So may I have her on the video, please? And I will brief a bit on her biography. Dr. Lakhana earned her bachelor degree in science chemistry from Chulalongkorn University and master degree in business administration from Catholic University of Leuven, Belgium, and her PhD in business administration from University of Southern Queensland, Australia. And she possesses a wealth of professional experience in the top echelon of leading organizations in Thailand, including Director of Cerebos Pacific Company Limited. She also being the Director and Advisor for Cerebos Thailand, and she is Director for TIPCO F&B, and also Chairman of the Subcommittee of the Audit, member of Subcommittee on Strategy, and member of the Subcommittee on Audit, Thailand Institute of Nuclear Technology. I think I will spend about one day to explain about her. So why we miss a minute opportunity to listen to her. So I would like to bring you to listen to marketing trends and strategy for beverage after COVID-19 by Dr. Lakhana, please.
สวัสดีค่ะ Good afternoon from Thailand. Now today I just like to cover something about marketing on the beverage industry. Actually, if we look in total, in general, you can see that the trend of the carbonated drink, energy drink, beer or spirit, are now becoming a little bit saturated because of there are so many choices for the consumer to choose. And the other thing, the government also issued some measurement to cut the consumption of alcohol and also beverage with a high sugar content. That's also another factor that how they make the total industry didn't go so fast like before. And then the third one is about the low purchasing power due to the COVID-19. Non-carbonated drink, such as vitamin drink, very interesting, continue to gain a lot of momentum due to health conscious attitude of the consumer. Anyway, when we come to the COVID-19, we have to look at what the consumer has been changed for a while already. Before COVID, we already call the thing that happened to consumer as a VUCA world. The first one is volatility. We don't know how fast the rate of change is happened to any industry in the market. It's totally unpredictable. And then the U is uncertainty, unclear about the present. What's gonna happen. The third one, C, complexity. Complexity is multiple key decision factor, in doing business. In actually not only the beverage industry, but I mean every industry that operate in the market. And the last one is ambiguity. Ambiguity is the lack of clarity about meaning of an event. The unknown of the unknowns. So it's a lot of things happen. I would like to show some example to bring you to what happened with the COVID-19. COVID-19 is an incident that happened without any plan, and then this is a big disruption that is affect every industry, every people in the whole world. There is one of the metaphor that people like to compare, what happened to us on the COVID-19. This is a story of a real story of the bridge called Soluteka. Soluteka actually is a suspension bridge located in the city of Soluteka, Honduras. It's about 484 meters long. It was built over the river of the Soluteka to connect it to a new bypass road. But because Honduras have a lot of monsoon, have a lot of typhoon, so they hired the best company, the Japanese company, to build this bridge and then make sure that it used the latest technology to withstand any nature disaster. Anyway, one day after the bridge finished, Hurricane Mitch hit the Honduras and deposited about 75 inches of rainwater in 4 days. What happened? About 7,000 people lost their life. But more than that, the hurricane destroyed everything except the Soluteka bridge. The river even had to change its course. So the bridge is no longer flow beneath the bridge, the water, but it flow beside the bridge. So what happened? There is no water underneath of the bridge anymore. So Soluteka bridge became a bridge to nowhere because it's not cross the river anymore. And it became a metaphor for many lessons in the business, especially the situation of COVID-19. The Soluteka River caused a massive disruption without plan by changing its course. The bridge over nothing, a bridge to nowhere. This situation is similar to what happened to us with the COVID-19. One day we wake up, and we found that we cannot fly, we cannot go outside. We were locked down in the house. So it's a lot of things happen to people, and people really don't know what to do because it's something that never happened to them in their life. Now, what I want to point is, at present, it's not a matter of you build something very strong or build to last, but it's a matter of how good are you in build to adapt. You must be adapt to any situation that can happen. So we have to really, understand and then try to make sure that we change ourselves and fit with the consumer behavior that has already changed from the past. The impact of the COVID-19, certainly the first one is financial impact. No doubt that most of the business, everybody, either lose job, lose business. So 25% of their income, gone. So normally Thai people, we didn't save a lot of money. So what happened is we have to cut non-essential things, we have to reduce spending, and then this create a lot of problem in terms of business. Most of the business has a lot of disruption and the sale go down. The second point is on the emotional disturbance. People feel very depressed due to the social lockdown. We never been locked down in the house, and cannot go out. We are too scared to go out. We have to do social distancing. Even you have in your family, you have to be careful, not to get too close to them. People are very scared. So what happened? People locked down in the house, they have nothing to do. They walk around. Finally, a lot of, things happen in their mind. They never know that their house have a lot of point that they should be repaired, So what happened after the COVID? The building material sales shooting up because people were locked down in the house. And then this sort of thing is really impact the decision making of a lot of consumer and also the choice. The third one is about the hygiene. Thai people, we are very really, we are quite listen to doctor, we believe in the doctor. So when the doctor say you have to be careful trying to get a hygiene, wash your hand, we really diligently follow the doctor. So what happened? 89% of Thai people, we get gel and hand wash, very high percentage. And then surprisingly, more than 95% of Thai people use masks. So they go anywhere, even nowadays when you come to Thailand, you can see that we use masks every day that we go. So this is the reason why we have a very low incidence of a COVID infection in Thailand, because we are quite concerned in hygiene. And then, of course, the number 4 is purchasing power drop a lot. So people cut down, people trade down, and then they have to focus on the necessity thing, day to day. So try not to stock and then save cash because you don't know what's going to happen with the future. What we're going to do after this sort of thing happen, we cannot, change the situation. We cannot deny that it's not happened. So once when it happened, we have to look at ourselves. What should we do in order to survive in the situation of this COVID-19? The key strategy that we should implement is, first one, we call it touchless. Touchless, that means because of the COVID, people are so afraid of the hygiene, afraid of the disease. So we must try to adapt our business model to serve product and service, but try to avoid touching, each other. For example, the food court in Thailand. Then in the past, you can walk in, you buy food, and then you can pick up the fork and spoon. Now they will never not allow you to do that anymore. But they will pack it properly, still in the plastic. So you will be the first person who open the fork and spoon to use. So this sort of thing is a matter of the business. People try to adapt themselves to the situation of a consumer who is so scared of the COVID-19. Hygiene become the main factor, for consumer to buy. If the product didn't show that it's hygiene enough, they certainly will not buy. So product and service must meet this requirement as otherwise nobody gonna buy. Cashless, number 2, the key strategy that you should use, because in the past, we use cash, mixed together with the mobile payment. But because of the COVID, what happened is people try to avoid touching the cash. So one of my friends, she go so far that until when she get any change in terms of cash, she will put in a plastic bag and quarantine the cash by about 14 days. So it shows you that people are so scared. So what happened? Now they try not to touch the cash, and then mobile payment, the use of mobile payment shooting up very high. Interesting to learn that, more than 50 million of Thai people use internet at present, especially when they lock down at home. They have nothing to do. So they spend more, each person average spend more than 10 hours per day online. So that means it gives you a lot of opportunity to do your business, to change the business model, to make it fit together with the consumer lifestyle. And then mobile commerce, just buy things via the mobile, your handphone. It's about half of the total e-commerce that market of e-commerce in Thailand already. And then this rate is growing more than double digit every year. Even before the COVID. Now after the COVID, even faster. So we have to learn this point. So the other one is, just talking about the selfless. Selfless means now because of the COVID, we get a feeling that actually life is so short, you know, you may die one day, maybe you can die easily. So people get a feeling that we should try to do something good to other people and to the society. So Thai people are a little bit more religious than other country. So what happened? We will try to do good, you know, do giving some of our money, giving some of our thing, you know, and this one become a key very important strategy for any organization. If you want to sit in the heart of the consumer, you cannot just simply sell your product. You must sell thing to the consumer, make them believe that you are really doing a good thing for the society and for people. We even, you know, now become a trend that everybody set up just a cabinet and put a lot of food, you know, so for giving those who are poorer or bypass people who have nothing to eat. So this sort of thing is show you that CSR must be one of the important strategy for any organization. So I think all in all, you can see that the COVID is really changed the cost of life of lots of people. This is it is not the strongest of species that will survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change will be important. This is a word from the Charles Darwin, and it's still applicable to nowadays. I think for us, if we really want to live in this changing world, we have to do two things. First one is new. You must think out of the box and try to do something new to your business. You cannot just simply do the same thing, sell the same thing, and hope that, you know, it's going to be getting better. There is no such thing. So you have to do something new, trying to make sure that you understand the consumer need, you understand their fear, you understand what they want to have, and then try to adapt your business to be offer something for them that serve their need. And then the second one is now, because if you think and plan but never do anything, you're gonna go nowhere. I think I love a statement from Richard Branson, you know, the owner of Virgin Airlines. He said that you don't learn to walk by following rules. You learn to walk by doing and by falling over. That means, you know, don't just simply look at the thing and then just keep on, hopefully that one day it will be better, it will be gone. It won't be that way. So you have to do it now. And if you fail, it's okay, fail fast. And then you stand up again and do it again until you success. So I hope that, you know, the COVID, even though it's a big disruption for our life, but we already passed so many things in the past, even it's smaller, and we really go through it, you know, every time. And then we also succeed in making it. So I hope that this gonna be we're gonna be the same too for this time of the change. Change is part of our life, and I hope that everybody will have a lot of energy and you know and creativity to go over the situation and then stand strongly after the COVID. After the COVID, we will be very, very strong because we already passed something which is a big disruption of our life.
All right. So thank you, Dr. Lakhana. So it's very clear that if you can pass the worst of the lifetime with the COVID, you will getting stronger. And in the summary of what Dr. Lakhana has mentioned, it is really how the business has to adjust on your approach to the market. It is like the big word she gave on the touchless, cashless, and selfless. And definitely the CSR is the area that learn to give before taking back from your customer. So this is the idea that today the two of the speakers on the trend, how you could adjust the products to reach the market. And now it's already covered on the strategies that you should present your products into your consumer. Don't forget that corporate social responsibility is the thing that coming in today's business, and people look at how you give and how you take back from them. So right now, we have very broad on the trends of the offering of the products and the trend how to approach into the consumer. Now, the very key important sector that is happening around beverage sector is about TAX, it's about tax. So right now I have our honorable guest speaker from the Excise Department, Ministry of Finance. We have Mr. Nattakorn Utensud. He is going to cover on the policies and regulations to promote functional beverage industry. He is the Director of Tax Planning Bureau of the Excise Department. May I invite Kun Nattakorn to open the video first. And definitely I have to brief you about him a bit. Right now, Mr. Nattakorn is the Director of the Tax Planning Bureau, Excise Department, from 2014 to present. And on 2013 to 2014, he is Director of Excise Bangkok Area 4, Regional Excise Office 10. From the experience that I got from Kun Nattakorn, I feel that he is really real expert to answer you about the tax on sugar and even salt. So don't to pass much time with me. I am going to pass the stage to Kun Nattakorn to speak on the policies and regulations to promote functional beverage industry. Please.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Kun Rose, for inviting me to come and talk about the policy and regulation to promote functional beverages industry. Let me just try to give you a big picture on what we are doing. For example, if you look at this PowerPoint, the outside of the circle, we have three main topics. One is for health. That means we tax on sin tax and luxury tax or health tax. And then the other one we have is we call the environmental tax. So we tax on the environmental aspect. Lastly, we tax on we call the energy tax. However, when you look at in the circle there, we have three components that's very important for our responsibilities. One is because maximizing revenue. The other one is because government policies. Lastly, and which seem to be very important for us, is competitiveness for our domestic producer. So these mechanisms will working simultaneously. For example, when we would like to implementing a certain policies, the revenues also be very important for us, and we have to follow the government policies. And lastly, we have to focus on how that policy will impact the competitiveness of the domestic producer. Those are the example of what we are doing for the excise department. When we are focused on we call the non-alcoholic beverages tax. So I just want to understand the past first, and then we'll go to the present, and then later on we will talk about the future. You can see that from the past, the tax on non-alcoholic beverages is focused because the luxury products, we call it non-necessity products for consumer. For example, we don't tax on water, we don't tax on milk, but we tax on mineral waters, imported waters, we tax on soda, not because of like Westerner drinking soda, carbonated water as the same with water, but here in Thailand, soda we tax because of they mix with alcohol. So that's why we tax on soda. We tax on carbonated soft drink, we tax on energy or sport drinks, and lastly we tax on because of fruit juice. So in the past, we tax only using the ad valorem rate. That imply that more of the higher the price of the products, higher the tax burden. So you can see that this present time, we just looking at in terms of the health of the Thai people. And we face with the new dilemma called aging societies. So in that sense, we are trying to making a tax suitable for better living. For example, today we're introducing the so-called sugar tax. It's in terms of specific rate, mean we tax that based on so-called sugar contents. Why sugar content we'll explain a little bit later on, but for this purpose, we will see that we have the mixed system. One is average plus the specific rate on the sugar contents. However, the policy that we are using is not 100% success rate, because we realize that one policy not fit all. So that means the other non-tax policy will play an important role also in terms of how we can educate Thai people to drink products that better for their health. Mean the labeling also be important in the packaging. And also when you look at the whole picture of the tax, we did some study, and the study showed that in the past or even in the present, the non-tax policy, how we can educate people, raising awareness, also changing consumer habit is very important, and it will be impact for the middle class or upper class. But for the less unfortunate people, the tax will play also an important role. Mean the less unfortunate will lack of looking into the packaging or labeling. They're concerned about only the price. So when we combining the tax and non-tax system, there will be the effective way to show that we have a wide range of products that having a so-called healthier logo. And also when we look at this, we will go into detail a little bit later on. However, when you look at this perspective of tax system, the other key that we have to be concerned with is we call it substitution effect. When we tax on the drinking products, as I mentioned, soda or carbonated drinks, fruit juice, and so on, we have to look in terms of the substitution effect also. Mean we should be concerned with we call it let's say we concerned with the syrup of the product also. That's also be very important. So substitution effects also play a role in terms of excise tax. This the tax structure here is show that we implementing this sugar tax since 16th of October 2017. Now today we are get into the second phase, means starting from 1st October of 2019, and the third phase will be 1st of October 2021. Lastly, from 1st of October 2023 onward, will have the maximum impact to the tax burden. So in this chart, you see that on the left-hand side, we are focused on the we call it average rate, and on the right-hand side, we call it specific rate based on the sugar contents. If you are sugar content below 6 grams per 100 milliliter, you don't pay any tax. But if you between 6 and 8, today you pay only 10 stang, 1/10 of 1 baht. On between 8 to 10 grams per 100 milliliter, you pay only 30 stang. And from 10 to 14 grams, you pay only 1 baht. And then from 14 to 18, you pay 3 baht. And over 18 grams per 100 milliliters, you pay 5 baht. And that rate will be the end of the effective rate will start from 1st October 2019 to 20th of September 2021. Mean the 1st of October 2021, we have another progressive rate. So why I mention this? Because this is the way of tackling we call the health issue. We call it non-communicated disease. NCD stand for that. So when you look at this structure, we give a sufficient lead time for producer or manufacturers to try to come up with a reformulation of the products, lower the sugar contents, lesser the tax. Mean that they will have around 6-year periods from starting from 16th of October 2017 onward to the 1st of October 2023. That means you will have a structure that show if you planning correctly, eventually you have a lesser burden. I give you another example. This is a progressive rate from starting from 1st October 2019. I give you example when the sugar content between 14 and 18 grams per 100 milliliters. Today, you pay 1 baht. 10 to 14, you pay 1 baht. And then from 1st October 2021, you pay 3 baht. And then after that, you will pay 5 baht when you at 1st of October 2023. Mean the producer has to find a way to reduce the tax burden. Why I show you this? I give you another example. This is the tax burden of 1 bottle of sugar contents of, let's say, carbonated drinks. At 11 milligram of sugar with 100 milliliters of the size of the packaging is 325 milliliters. Today, you pay only 1.87 baht just for excise. But for the whole total of impact, you pay 2.06 baht, 2 baht something. And then if you do nothing, mean your product itself sugar content remain at 11 grams, you will see that eventually your burden will start from 2 baht to 3 baht. And then eventually you will end up at 1st of October 2023, you will pay 4.26 baht per bottle or per can. So in this particular example, if the bottle is sold around 15 baht or maybe around 10 to 50 baht, let's say, it depends on the size. The tax burden itself is more than 40% of the price. So eventually, if you do nothing, mean the producer do nothing, they will face with more than 25 to 40% of the tax burden. This is the structure that we give a producer to a sufficient lead time for they are trying to come up with the idea of innovation to reformulate their products. This example of non-alcoholic beverages revenue collections from fiscal year 2014 to 2020, you will see that we starting at the 1st of October 2017 is near the 1st of October of 2017, mean the fiscal year start at 2018 in the fiscal year. The tax revenue we collected from sugar tax at that year, 2018 fiscal year, we taxed at the amount of 2,954 million baht, 2.9 billion. But when you look at 2019, you can expect when the producer or manufacturers or even the who making a soft drink industry, they try to reducing their own sugar contents, and that reflect the revenue decrease. The revenue decrease mean that 2019 we tax on sugar tax revenue received at that time is 2,432 million, 2.4 billion. So in this particular example, you will see that revenue we collected from the soft drink itself from 2018 is around 21 billion. And from 2019, we collect around 23 billion. But the effects of the sugar tax is been declining. What I mean by that? I mean that by having a sufficient lead time, and I realized that right now consumer also aware of NCD, for example, diabetes, for example. So when they aware of that, they're trying to find a products that when they're drinking those products is better than their health. So, and that will in line with the producer or manufacturer try to come up with the products that lesser sugar. I give you example. During that time, 2018 and 2019, we see that we have a 300% increase on the SKU of the, we call the healthier logo from 200 something to 900 SKU, 3,000% increase of the healthier products. So, and many products in commercial, you can, when you open the television, turn on the television, you see that a lot of products being claimed that they have no sugar, they have less sugar, or even they have a something that better for their health. Especially the other thing that I'm trying to focus on is the, we call it functional drink. We will focus a little bit on detail on that. But in this particular example, you will see that eventually, hopefully, the products that sell in the Thai market will have lesser and lesser sugar by due to the tax burden that I showed you earlier. During a COVID situation from May to July of this year, we are trying to come up with the idea that we separate into three phases. One is we call a short-term phase, that we call a quick win. We are trying to issue a new rules and regulation to solve some short-term problem. I will show you in a little bit detail later on. Medium term, we would like the industry to restructuring their own business. That means after the medium term period, the long term period, we hope that Thailand would be a hub for the functional drink or even the products in the future. We call the industrial transformation. This is what we are trying to achieve during the COVID period. What I mean by this? In the short-term period, we have we call a tax payment deadline extensions from May to July for all of the products from excise. So you will see that during the 3-month period, we have almost 19 billion baht has not been collected throughout the 3-month period. So that means 19 billion baht for the manufacturer can circulate as the part of their cash flow to reduce the burden on the COVID period. And then we have a ratio of the fruit or vegetable juice content that we're reducing. Before they used to have at least 20% of the fruit or vegetable contents to earn 3% tax rate. We reducing those content of fruit or vegetable to only 10% of that. So it will help the industry to focus more on we call it functional drink. For example, you see that in the market, if you go to the convenience store, you will see that right now we have an increase on we call a functional drink. Because of the functional drink mean that we have two type of functional drinks. One is we call the water-based functional drinks. The other type is we call the fruit-based functional drink. So those two functional drink mean water add with vitamins, many type of vitamins, or maybe a collagen also, and also the fruit juice can add more on the vitamins or collagen also. That means the product itself can sell at the level of we call functional drink. And we have many problem in the last May to June and July. The revenue collected of that particular alcoholic beverages has been reduced from 2,400 million a month to 706 or 696 million from May and June respectively. And then when we defer that payments in July, we collect only for the whole 2 months. We have May, June, and July. The total amount we collect is 4,768 million baht. This is just for a soft drink industry. We also have the automobile industry. We have petroleum and petroleum product industry. We have the tobacco. We have and so on. So we tax more than, right now we expect to tax more than 500 billion baht for this coming fiscal year. For the last month, we're going to have is this coming month. Actually, today is the 1st of October. So it's going to be a last month of the fiscal year. So we expect to have that revenue collected. We would like to focus on the key feature on non-alcoholic measure to raise the public awareness is the key to making a functional drink to be more sufficient. So first of all is promote activity of campaign to raise awareness and advocate for the healthier dietary behavior, mean that we should promote. And many people already say that promotion is very important. Campaign also be important for rising awareness. And then we are going to promote healthier choice local or even the food labeling education program. We're going to increase the distribution of or channel of healthier products in many outlets, department store, supermarkets, and also convenience store. Promoting the nutrition education program designing to reduce sugar intake in school. That also be very important. A cooperation between public and private sector to increase the collaborations for tax and non-tax policies. As I mentioned, the tax alone would not be working effectively. We have to have a tax and non-tax working simultaneously to making it more effective. The future direction of non-alcoholic beverages in Thailand. First of all, you will see that we are promoting health awareness as a key for excise tax development and tax innovations, healthier local, as you might see that very often in the labeling of the products or packaging. And then the other thing is encourage the beverages industry to reformulate their products according to the low sugar contents. Mean if they have a better, less sugar, mean less tax, increase their own competitiveness eventually. So we will increase the tax burden through the specific rate, and we try to reduce the average rate in the future. And then lastly, making sugar-free drinks cheaper and increase more healthier products to the consumer. That's another key concept that we would like to encourage. And we would like to supporting the producer to producing the better product for healthier products to consumer. The tax is another thing that we have to be focused on. The mix system for tobacco, liquor, and also the sugar be very important. You will see that we have the algorithm for we call the income distributions. We tax on percentage of value of the products, the price of the products, or we're using a specific rate. We tax on the harmful for the health. More sugar, pay higher tax. Less sugar, pay lesser tax. That's also be very important. In the future, you might see the sodium tax will play another role in terms of tax collections. And also another thing that we have to focus is aging society that I mentioned a little bit earlier, that we have to focus upon the idea that how we can making the product better for consumer. Lastly, key success factor of non-alcoholic beverages. It's 4 basic things that we have to consider. First of all is fairness issues. Mean the product itself should be fair for the consumer, producer, and the government. That means we're using the sugar content. Less sugar content pay less tax. Higher sugar content should pay higher tax. Transparency. Mean the guideline of daily amount, GDA labeling would introducing to the consumer is, or the healthier choice should be the basic way to look at it. I agree that sometimes some people may claim that the labeling in the package itself, it's very difficult to understand. Maybe the labeling is too small. That we will try to look into that, and then we try to accommodate the issue that we face. Simplicity, another term that we have to look at it, because the tax structure that we design should be very simple, not too complicated. So if right now, if the producer facing a certain tax that very complicated, they can making us realize that we can change it, we can do it more simpler, or we think that it's already simple, but we can listen for any changes if necessary. By doing fairness, transparency, and simplicity. Lastly, the efficiency mean we should create a win-win solution between consumer, producer, and the government. Mean if, for example, I give you example. For example, if the producer try to produce a less sugar content products, mean their price will be cheaper because the tax burden will be cheaper and the consumer will be benefit from that. So it win-win solution mean they can enjoy a lower tax, they can enjoy the producer enjoy lower tax and consumer enjoy a lower price, and the government happier in terms of reducing NCD, non-communicated disease for the whole population. The government spend lesser money for the health issues. So those are the summary of what we are focused on, and the functional drink would be a key for a future if we have innovation. Mean if we have try to develop or using a new technology for new products, and that would create a win-win solution that I mentioned earlier. So these are the presentation that I would like to spend the time with. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Kun Nathakon. So right now we come to question and answer. May I invite Mr. Tan Heng Hong also open the video, then we go to the panelists on the question that we get from the audience. Actually, there is a lot of question also come through the live now, but I would touch only few of it because we only have not much time to go through all the questions. So the question first, I would go to Kun Nathakon first because it's like very hot one, and when talking about the money and cent for the products, like 4 baht for the 15 baht products, what is going to happen? So the first question from the audience online saying that the sugar tax is imposed with the purpose of stimulate Thais to consume less sugar drink for their health, for reduce NCD. But the audience wonder that the manufacturer shift their sugar to sweetener to avoid tax. Is it the best solution from your perspective, or it just change from consuming sugar to sweetener instead? So
Okay, that is very good questions. I just want to focus on the regulations. If you, based on the regulations, mean if you're using the sweetener by the amount that been required by FDA, Thai FDA, that means it's not be harmful for consumer health. That's very concerned with. And the other thing is the substitution effects. If you using a sugar, and if you would like to encourage lesser sugar, mean they have to find a way to using other substances to making the products same qualities of the consumer to the consumer. But eventually, we hope that our consumer will change their drinking habit to be familiar with lesser sweetened products. That is what we are trying to promote.
Okay, so thank you, Khun Natsakorn, very much. So I will go to next question to Dr. Lakhana on the strategy that you have covered on the touchless, selfless, like that. So the question is in general, in terms of during the COVID situation, you already bring the audience into understand that what they should look at. But what about the strategies if after the COVID-19? So what's marketing trends and strategy for beverage sector that they should adopt the new that you just mentioned right now?
I thank you for giving me this question. Actually, if you really look at the trend, even before and after, health and wellness is always come very high because people nowadays live longer and they would like to have a quality of life. So what happened? The beverage industry have to also, evolve together with the consumer trend. You have to focus more on the healthy and then wellness of the drink that you're going to offer to them. Actually, the consumer, need didn't change much. They still want something to eat, they want something to drink, and they even want something to do. But you have to adapt yourself, to fit with the situation. Actually, I would like to show you a case which is not a beverage. It's a kind of a concert. When you're talking about COVID, having COVID and then concert is totally something that not go together because the government not allow people to come and then you get in a big group. So what happened? They still want to see concert, but you cannot let them come to a normal concert. What happened is the company here in Thailand and also overseas, they arrange an online concert. And then the online concert, people can see from their home, or from wherever they are. And then the ticket will be much cheaper than normally when you come to the concert hall or something. So what happened is you have more people buy the ticket. Even the ticket is lower price, but you get more profit from the total arrangement. Consumer is happy. Ticket were sold out, within just a few hours because they can sit at home or in their friends or something and look at the concert in a very close, close look rather than sit very far away in the concert hall. This one is show you that the need is still there, but you must have to change the way that you're going to approach consumer. And the other example is in Greece, in a Greece country. They would like to organize also a concert. And instead of they cannot go to the concert hall. So they organize a drive-through concert. That means everybody take the car, go to a park, and then you sit in the car, you can sing along, you can shout, you can dance, you can do a lot of things. These two cases is just show to you that, the The consumer needs is still there, but you must change your approach and then also your strategies to fit with them. They would like to have something really healthy and then good for their wellness. So you must try to create and innovate product that fit together with them.
Right, thank you very much. Now, Mr. Tan, are you ready? I'm going to combine from the answer of Dr. Lakhana and Khun Nathakorn for the question that you got now. It is about the COVID-19 already impact the beverage sector. Dr. Lakhana mentioned on the touchless and the approach to customer. Khun Nathakorn already mentioned about a functional drink that would have the tax that in the first rank from what he mentioned in the slide. So from the market study, I'm not sure whether the tax is in the parameter in doing the research or not. However, I know that you can answer this, that on the beverage sector, across the various beverage type like the carbonate type, the functional drink, the sport drink, the fruit juice, how you see the beverage segment get impact from the COVID? It is across the board the same, or it is very different in different type of beverage?
Okay, first of all, Mintel doesn't really track sales performance of products. Yeah, so, but generally looking at the beverage segment, you notice certain categories do perform well, but some categories that are really dependent on the out-of-home occasions, such as your, for example, your tea drinks, perhaps, we would see these categories impacted. So just give you an example of what happened in the Philippines, URC. So the company has released its results, right? So we see RTD sales in Q2, which is when we had the lockdown. It went down by 30%. So whereas coffee went up by 8%. So there's a contrasting situation whereby we see more consumers now consume coffee at home. Perhaps they are making some of the dalgona coffee. Yeah. So which is very trending at the moment. Back then, okay. So what beverage companies can do, right? They can increasingly tap into the in-home consumption through bigger pack, which gives consumers better value for money, perhaps 1.5 liter. And also to encourage consumers to drink more of your products at home, you can also cooperate with some of the takeaway companies like your Food Panda, or even your Grab Food, whereby when you order your meal, it comes together with your CSD or your RTD tea. Yeah, and then there's also many ways for beverage companies to innovate. For example, you can partner with some of the food service brands. You can create a new drink out of it. I think just recently, like Tea Life in Malaysia, just a few hours ago, they have announced a partnership between Tea Life and also with 100 Plus. So 100 Plus is like an isotonic drink. So there are many ways for beverage players sort of to stimulate sales through different channels. Yeah.
Okay, so seems like some of the sector is growing in contrast with the effect on the beverage sector, but definitely it's come back to the factor that most of the speaker always say that the financial impact on the power of the spending. So it's come to back to question to Mr. Tan again, that what do you see the food and beverage industry trend in 2021?
Okay, so looking at 2021, which is next year, what about if we talk about even further, looking at 2030, because last year we did launch a series of trends that looks 10 years ahead. So what happened in 2030 according to Mintel is we have identified 3 key trends for Mintel Food and Drink Trends, which is change incorporated. So what is change incorporated? It's really about companies that take care of the the health of the consumers and also the health of the planet Earth. So we live in the planet Earth. There's only one Earth that we have. So we expect consumers to prioritize more plant-based diet, plant-based food in their diet. We see this happening already. And also, consumers also want to reduce the food waste. So how companies can use this type of food waste and to make new product out of it. For example, perhaps you have like in your market, you have vegetables and fruits that looks very ugly. So, and we have companies nowadays turning these ugly foods into something that is edible, like in the form of a juice. So, so here, this is Change Incorporated. And then we also have another trend, which is smart diet. So smart diet is really about hyper-individualized approach to your physical and also mental health. So consumer can gain better understanding of the unique makeup of their own body through health testing services like DNA testing services, or even AI-enabled applications. And people expect to live longer, and they want to know what type of diet that can help them when they live a longer life. So I think recently we have seen in China, Nestle launched a product called Neskino. So this is like a special drink where you have different sachets and then you mix it together, and then you can produce like a smoothie-based drink that is very nutritious. Let's say if you have want to improve your eye health, you can have a base which is like oats, and then you can add some another sachet which contains like purple ingredients, your berries, your purple carrot, and then you can create a drink that is good for your vision. So this is about one of the steps towards personalized diet. And then lastly, we have another trend called high-tech harvest, which is sort of like we turn to food science to increase our food supply. So perhaps we can use cell cultured meat and stuff like that to produce new products that is efficient, that it doesn't really harm the environment. And it also helps to tackle food security in some of the developed countries.
Okay, so seems like all the trend it's getting along together with this pandemic situation. The good things that people looking for healthy hygiene of the products. So right now come to what Mr. Tan just mentioned right now, that the way of people trading and really adjust from what Dr. Lakhana mentioned is as an entrepreneur or business, you have to adjust how to approach the consumer. So many companies adjust themselves into doing the e-commerce, food delivery during this pandemic. With this change, even for ourselves, we are doing this webinar because we try to adopt the digital platform into this. So with the knowledge that we have learned today, I would have the question to Dr. Lakhana, which I myself will use for my business as well, that how do you see the digital will play a role in the marketing if focus on the beverage sector for the audience today? Can you give your expertise to train us to be good in using digital in the beverage marketing?
Actually, the digital trend is applied to all industry, not only the beverage. But anyway, if in the future, if you have to shift and then, deliver beverage to home, like what we order food, I would say that maybe everybody need to look at the packaging one more time, because innovation on the packaging also another key factor that can help you. Because since you have to shift, not let the consumer go to the shop and pick it up anymore. Maybe they ask you to deliver to their home. So packaging is another thing that you can innovate, and make it fit with the situation. Digital. Why I try to emphasize that digital is very important, because especially Thai people normally we are quite not so good in using this sort of thing, but because of the situation in the past, now we have more than 50 million people on the internet. And they predict that in the year 2025, we're going to have more than 60 million people go online. So what happens when they go online? Of course, some people will order food, some people will not. But there is a tendency that, the lockdown of the COVID changed their behavior. Now they order food and everything much better than before. And I can see that lots of companies, they try to change the way that they pack the product, because when you need to ship them to the consumer, you have to concern about the packaging and then the method of delivery, that when you're getting that home, everything got to be in good order. Nowadays, packaging is developed quite a lot. I saw a lot of people, even order trees, a tree, very tall tree, big tree, and then I'll say flower and everything. They can ship via the post and everything. I think this is also another key point, that we must make use and then try to get the behavior of the consumer. When they go digital, they will be more choosy, because they can search. They know everything. They can choose between many brands. So you must be able to offer something, to capture the consumer need, to capture the consumer attention, and then make sure that it's totally offer something unique, so that differentiate yourself from the competitor. Because when the consumer go online, they know everything. They know the price, they know the quality, they can search, they can compare. Then the life of doing business on the online will be a little bit more difficult, because consumer will know more or less, equal to the producer. So this sort of thing make you have to aware, and then you have to probably change starting from your organization. You have to change the people, change the process, and change the business model to make it fit together with the trend that's gonna come. Nowadays, in the global retail sales, e-commerce it represents about 10% of the total retail sales. But in the future, it will grow much faster. And then in Thailand, so far, our retail sales represent only 0.8%. That means you still have a lot of opportunity to do this sort of thing on the digital sales, So I would say that it becomes part of life, that you need really to get used to it and try to do it. At the beginning, some small company maybe cannot go in a big scale, but you have to try and try and error and try to until it fit together with your business for selling the beverage online.
So, Dr. I saw a lot of development of the small sector, like a lot of new cafe in Thailand, a lot of actually in Vietnam or even in other countries, not the high brand, but it's just like the startup. So we see that the movement or adjustment of those companies is very fast in using the digital, and they can conquer the delivery market in Thailand quite fast. How, as the marketers, how you suggest those people to sustain their business, because their business is like fashion, it's like come and go very fast. What is the idea on that as the marketer to give the audience the stimulation that you have to change something to the right direction?
Because nowadays, you see, when consumer move, you have to move together with them. You cannot, you even have to go faster than them, to waiting for them at that point that you have to predict. So I think I know some coffee chains. They sell coffee, because of COVID, they cannot let the consumer come and then sit down and then drink. What happened is they sell on delivery, and the sale is so good. So what happened after COVID, I believe that this sort of business model, they will be two sides, what the traditional one and also the digital one, that people can order the product online. And then certainly if you're doing well, it's going to increase your total portfolio of sales and then make you getting more profit. The point is, you have to look at the packaging, because when you want to deliver the coffee, to home, you cannot just use something very fragile. You got to make sure that it's sustained and can keep the freshness of the product and then maybe coolness of the product until it reaches the consumer hand. So look at the overall of the thing, not just only want to sell it online. You have to look at the people. You have to train your people in another way, because the order online is different from selling, at point purchase. And then you have to change the process, because whatsoever you do now maybe not fit together with selling online. So trying to look at the process, and then at the end, change the business model. Don't forget that nowadays, not the big fish, eat the small fish, but the fast one eat the slow one. So as I mentioned, new and now, that means you have to try and then act, so that if it doesn't work, it's okay, it fail fast, and then you move to another one. So you learn a long time. This one is give you an opportunity for a small entrepreneur to do something better than the big entrepreneur, because you move faster, you change faster, and then you're gonna at least succeed in it, success in your own way.
Yeah, and to be brave also to change faster. So now we hear from Dr. Lakhana's point of view already on the small cafe that happen in the market. There is a lot of question after I have gone through the sugar tax. Actually, I really just learned from Khun Nathakorn on the level that we are going to implement in phase. I have a question that too many cafes now, but the tax of the sugar tax really focus on the big client, big entrepreneur. What about if I am big entrepreneur, I may ask like why those coffee shop or the cafe that's selling using sugar even more than I'm doing in the big company. So the excise department has done anything on the collecting tax from those players?
Okay, thank you very much, Khun Rose, on that questions. I think I will try to give you a pictures on why we tax on the industry level. When you look at the total amount of consumptions, you see that normally Thai people drink from the cans from the industry more than 75% of the total consumption of the carbonated drinks or fruit juice, for example. But when you look at cafe, for example, you see that when Thai people try to consume that, they drink those products less often compared with the industrial products, because they have to go to the certain place to get the drink. But here you can go to the refrigerators and then open it and then just drink it right away. So by volume, the product from the industry itself, it's more than 75% of the total consumption. However, the point that I very important and very interesting point is, I just want to let you know that right now consumer already changed their behavior. So the COVID situation helped the technology to be useful. And you remember in the next 1 or 2 years from now, 5G is coming. It's faster than 4G. And then you will see that everything will change dramatically. So I would like to encourage the producer or manufacturer to focus on the functional drink, but not based on the water base. I just want to focus on how we can come up with the new innovations to promote the fruit-based functional drinks, because we are a tropical area. We have a lot of fruits. We have a lot of products that can be produced and can be generated for more of variety of the product itself. So we would like to encourage the manufacturer to using the fruit base for the future. That will promote and win-win solution for the agricultural products also. Thank you.
All right. I am very glad that I'm here with the director who not only look at his excise department, but he's looking at the agro-based, as the ASEAN is really a agro-based industry for the region. We should look at the regional products that we have. In Indonesia, they are doing a lot of jamu products, guava products, and Thailand also I see a lot of development on curcumin or even the herbal products. So come to the question, Kun Nathakorn. There is a question on, we focus a lot on the milk tea and things like that. Anything on excise department working on the PLT on the tax or not?
Actually, we have been study for a couple variety of the product itself, but however, during this situation, the COVID situations, I think we will try to delay the policy for a while until everything been settled. So the new tax policy would not be implemented within a year from now. But in the future, we already have some study been done for how we can making our Thai people for better health in the future, for sure.
All right, so that's very good news that every department of the government also working on toward mainly on the functionality of the products to the consumer. We try to protect consumer in Thailand. So right now I come to the hot topic that is before COVID, we are talking a lot about the cannabis or the products from those type of cannabis which has like CBD already mixed in the coffee, CBD mixed in on the healthy drink. I would ask question back to Mr. Tan because you cover most of the region that the CBD content of product already sell. How you see the trend of the CBD products going on in the market? Then I will come back to Dr. Lakhana and Kun Nathakorn to give the idea.
Regarding CBD, for me, I believe most countries are still at a stage whereby it's not allowed to be sold. So it's not allowed to be sold in most countries in the region due to regulatory issues. So I believe some markets, they allow it, but in majority in Asia, it's still off limit for CBD products. Yeah.
I saw your answer in the question is like the CBD in some country they treat as the herbal. Is it for health function like that, or can you share a bit on this?
I'm not that knowledgeable about CBD beverages, but I think in the UK and in other markets, CBD is mainly for relaxation, and it's legalized there. So these are some of the functions that CBD can offer, but in most part of Asia, it's still not. We are still not able to innovate with this ingredient. I believe so.
All right, apologize. Maybe my question is a bit wrong. I have to rephrase. It's like how you see the trend of people using CBD ingredients in the beverage.
Regarding CBD, for me, I'm not that that knowledgeable about CBD as an ingredient. So perhaps someone in the panel might know what's the answer to that.
No problem, Mr. Tan. So I will pass the question on the readiness of excise department on working on the CBD as the ingredient for beverage sector.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I think the logic of using CBD is better for the health for sure, but for Thailand, I believe that they still have some misuse of that. For example, a certain regulation allows for CBDs to use in terms of medical purposes, but I give you example, a cough syrup. You will see that a lot of youngsters drinking that cough syrup from the 7-Eleven, for example, as a part of the alcohol. They can get drunk from that. So the thing that we worry the most is how we can make this CBD to be regulated and to be used for certain purposes, not misuse of that. It's very important. Thank you.
All right, that is very clear about the CBD. It's actually CBD also has its own use and also the harmful to the health. So this kind, I saw the question is coming on the chat. That is why I raised this. But I would like to ask the last question to Dr. Lakhana. Then there is a lot of stories going on COVID, this hygiene that consumer. So can you share with the group here, with the audience about more than 100 now, to share like how do you think that your cashless and selfless that would very moving forward in the long term, even after COVID, what is the mindset that entrepreneurs should start to build from now on?
I think even after COVID, the trend is still on because people, you know, as I mentioned to you, now they realize that health is very important. You know, just some infection of the COVID in worldwide, you already get about 25 million of people get infected. And then almost 1.8 million, about almost 900,000 of people die. So people aware that, you know, the rate of spreading is so fast. So, and don't forget that it's mutate a long time also. That means maybe the COVID will stay with us for a long time. So it could become like a flu, you know, but people still have to be careful of them. And then there might be another one coming. So what happened is as a company, you know, we have to really prepare ourselves, make sure that whatsoever you are doing now, try to ensure that it really putting the hygiene factor, you know, wellness factor into account so that it will stay with the company for long. And then when you come to cashless, it linked together with the digital world. People now using mobile quite a lot. So if your business is still didn't have any linkage, you know, doing on the digital platform, you have to really look at it. I can tell you one thing, you know, look at the Jula Marketplace. Jula Marketplace was created during the COVID-19 by just a student, you know, from one faculty. And then within a week, he got about 6,000. Within a few weeks, he got about 60,000. And nowadays, you have more than 250,000 people over, you know, on the Jula Marketplace. And they sell everything. And I really amazed, you know, by the product that they sell. They can sell even a piece of land value at about more than 2 billion baht. They sell anything, you know, from a small thing to a big thing. So what I'm trying to say that nowadays, especially the teenagers, they will come, live in the world of the digital. So either you like it or not, it's gonna come and then getting more and more. So as a company, we have to prepare for that. And then the last one, you know, nowadays people get a feeling that when the company doing operate your business, you already get sale, you get profit. You have to sharing economy, sharing the thing, you know, to another people, like doing something good for the society. So nowadays, if you really show yourself that you concerned with human. When I say human, it's including your own staff, customer, you know, shareholder, and then outside people. You are concerned and then you really care about them. People feel good. And they will use more on your product. And then the other thing is on the environment. And environment is part of nowadays. We have a lot of awareness. We have a lot of alertness, you know, from the people damage the environment. So this sort of thing, you have to put as a foundation, the digital, the human concern, and then also the environmental concern as a foundation of whatsoever that you do on the business side. This will be sustainable and last for long, no matter how many diseases gonna come or how many disasters gonna come into this world. We're gonna be ready to confront with it.
All right, so that will be on 3rd of September. And for the next one, also with Mr. Nathakorn organized it for the entrepreneur and business of the beverage sector at the excise department on 9th of September. Please follow us on the ProPak Asia website and with the excise department. So I'm here today. Apologize for any technical issue and stay tuned with us and join with us at ProPak Asia. Thank you. สวัสดีค่ะ